hump day. That's what we call it around here. Midweek, whatever. So today we're gonna do a very basic, just kind of stretch routine that you can do at the end of one of your workouts, you can do it at the beginning, you can do it after you go for a hike or a jog, after a tennis class, whatever. And it will just sort of lengthen the muscle fibers back out so that we're not short, right? Because the idea is that over time, muscles that contract continuously shorten continuously. And so our idea with Pilates and with yoga and just stretching in general is to take those muscle fibers and lengthen them back out, so we in essence lengthen back out and get taller. There's less pressure on joints and muscle attachments. So obviously there's thousands of stretches probably out there. I'm just going to do a really easy flow for you that I enjoy, that wakes my body up and gets all the different angles of everything. Always keep a block handy because you never know. And this time we'll want our yoga strap. Now, if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt, you can use an extension cord, you can use anything that has static tension to it that you can wrap around. Bathrobe, tie, you name it, piece of rope. But you can get a yoga strap for really cheap at like Target. So go get a yoga strap if you don't have one. So we're just gonna start in what I call is a comfortable seat, right? We always wanna kind of remove our flesh so that we feel our sits bones grounded, and then we just kind of crisscross applesauce, right? And we're just gonna take a couple of breaths with our hands on tops of our knees. This is called a Sufi roll. It's basically just rotating around the axis of your spine, and it'll help you wake up your lower back. It gets a little bit of movement in the spine, and it also checks in with those hip attachments. I like to do 3 or 4 in each direction. And that's just, again, kind of waking the body up. This is a really good one for like first thing in the morning, or again, after a workout when you want to kind of cool everything down. Then neutralize yourself out. Bring opposite hand across the outside edge of the knee. Your other hand is going to come behind you like a kickstand, kind of steepled. You're going to lift up high, and on your exhale, you're going to start to spin the axis of your spine. You want to lift up tall first, right? It's always about finding length in the joints and in the muscle fibers. Then use your exhale to start to twist and breathe into it. Now, you want to look as well, because the spine goes all the way up into the neck, right? The cervical. So when you twist, you want to also move the head gently so that you get all the way into the upper neck muscles. Then you'll come back through neutral. You'll bring your opposite hand outside the knee. You'll sit tall first on an inhale, and then you'll spin the axis of the spine. Breathing, I would say 3 to 5 really good deep full body breaths, like inhale, and then exhale. So twists are our body's natural detoxing posture. In yoga, they massage the internal organs. So it's a really good one to stay. Maybe stay 30 seconds to a minute. Everybody's different in the length of how long they want to stay within their twist. Then I just like a nice interlace. You guys have seen me do this one standing and in other postures. We're gonna inhale to look up to our pinkies. Now stick your chin way up. That's gonna stretch the scalene muscles that attach along the clavicle bone, right? And we wanna lengthen all the way up into the jaw muscle. So we really stick the chin out. Then exhale, chin to chest. Continue to drive arm bones long to the sky. One more time, inhale, jut the chin out, stretch. And then exhale, chin to chest, lengthen arm bones long. Release the arms back behind you. Take a chest expansion. I like to push my knuckles down first. That starts to get, again, that length we're looking for. Then if you want a couple lift and lowers, that's chest expansion. But notice I'm not dipping at the chest to make this happen. Now, one quick cue for you guys that have really inflexible hips and hamstrings. Anything we do seated, you can come up on your block, and that's going to give you 6 inches of more lift, right? So that the hips can settle a little more naturally. Same thing when we come forward with straight legs, right? That block under the booty helps lift us up so that we can keep that really tall spine. It's all about what you need. The block is a prop. Use it when necessary. So again, we're doing that chest expansion, staying really long and tall in our spine. And then once you found a stretch you really like, hold it there and gently take ear to shoulder. Once again, we're waking up the levator muscles. Those are our shrug muscles, right? That so many of us have tension in. We're going to do that both sides, really pulling the arm bones down and away so that we get that traction. So again, few breaths each direction. Maybe you go back and forth breath movement, but really slow and really mindfully. The next stretch that we're going to do is a wide straddle pose. So you want to go at least out like 3 to 4 feet if you can. If you're way in here, get that block, place it under the booty, and then see if you can open up just a little bit more. Then we're going to reach for our foot. Now, if you can't get to your foot, that's what the strap is for. So our props are there to bring what we need closer to us, okay? So you can grab your strap or your foot, right? So you decide, keep the knees maybe soft but pressing towards the earth, ankles flexed always, unless we talk about it differently. And then you're gonna side bend over to your leg. Now, again, if you're way here, you wanna cinch up on that strap. That helps pull you into a deeper side bend. If you've got your foot, reach for outside edge, open up to the sky slightly, bend the bottom elbow. That's what gives you your movement. Again, you can always look down. That will take out some of the tension in the neck and shoulders. Take your normal 3 to 5 breaths, whatever you need, and then rise back up. Same thing, second side, you would undo your strap, put it around the foot if you need it. Otherwise, reach for that foot, take the arm up, and then start for your side bend. I like side bends because they open up the tightness around the hip attachments, the QL, all the way up into the intercostals, and then they're still stretching our hamstrings and our hips, right? So all really important as we try to lengthen and find a little more space. Once again, remember, you can always look down. Remember, the bending of the elbow is what gives us that kind of movement. We want to try to lengthen out. So this is one angle of the straddle. The other is to turn the body to the leg and reach for it in symmetry. I'm actually going to do this in another stretch in just a second, but just want to give you variations. You can turn, reach both hands, pull. You're still going to get a nice stretch down the low back of the opposing side and the hamstring of the front leg. Now, we're going to just take this straight forward, bringing our hands. Oh my gosh, I'm about to have a little friend. I'm not redoing this whole video because of a dog. Max, go. Lay down. Bring your hands forward in front of you. Oh, the joys of yoga and a dog. I think there's a whole YouTube sequence about this. Go lay down. Max, down. Down. I'm trying to also show you that I have such good control over my dog. Down. Stay. Stay. Then with your legs out wide, you're going to bring your hands forward and you're simply going to walk your fingertips. So sorry, you guys, you got to love it. That's Max, my Belgian Malinois. You're going to walk your fingertips forward. You're going to try to keep your big toes pointing up at the sky. Don't let them rock forward. That's tight hips again. Always okay to bend the knees a little bit here to get a little more clearance. You can maybe drop your elbows. Maybe you bring your elbows onto your block. But remember, try to relax the head or at least lengthen it so you're not always creating tension in the back of the neck when we stretch, okay? Again, 3 to 5 breaths here. I'm still laughing about the dog. I just refuse to start over. He's on his way back. We're going to keep breathing here. Remember, you want to kind of stretch your umbilical cord and your pelvis forward. That's going to give you a little more length in the backs of those thighs. From the side, we want to try not to round, right? We want to try to start to bring the pelvis and the heart chest forward so we can bring a stretch all the way into those hip creases and those inner thighs. Now, from there, we're going to bring one leg in. This is Jani Shavasana. I think we've done it on other videos in other ways. This is the one where we're going to turn. We're going to bring our whole body around to this leg. We're going to bring both hands in symmetry. Once again, if you need it, you put that strap around the foot and you pull. But this is a stretch where we're turning in symmetry. So belly button wants to come down toward the thigh. Once again, get that flesh out of the way. Try to keep, if your knee's way up here, that's okay, right? It's still a flexibility thing, and you can always take a block and place it under the knee. That's another way to support yourself so your leg's not just hanging out there in outer space, right? And then from there, you're gonna draw yourself forward. Again, keep the shoulders away from the ears. We wanna try not to create tension when we're stretching, but rather lengthen. Take again those 3 to 5 breaths. Inhale. Find some space and sink into it on the exhale. Okay, so you decide where that stretch goes. Once again, the flexion keeps it more intensely in the back of the leg. You'll get calf even and low leg on this stretch, and always some lower back and hip attachment. Same thing to switch sides. We bring the second leg out, so you're basically in a half straddle. You can always use your block as a prop. I love props, they're awesome. We can turn and reach first, which gives us kind of that half staff pose. We're working our spinal muscles as well, and then reaching for the leg. Always a bend in the knee, okay. You guys never have to have it pushed or locked in, but the more you push into the back of the knee, breathing into it, you're gonna get the intensity more into the belly of the muscle and more deeply into other recruited muscles, right? So it's not gonna just, right here, you're gonna get a little minor stretch as we press down into the knee and drive the heel away from the midline. You're gonna get more intensity, and again, belly to thigh, head drops at some point. That helps it go all the way down into the SI, the sacrum. So always 5 to 10 breaths, maybe 1 to 2 minutes at times. So stretching is very ambiguous as far as the allotted time you should take. I always say go until you feel release. You know when those muscles start to release, you feel the tension leave the body. So really important to take your time. Stretching isn't something that you can just do in 2 to 5 minutes. You need to do it every day. You need to vary your stretches so you're working different muscle fibers in different angles. So then the last stretch we're gonna do right here before we lay down, then we're gonna do just a handful more. This is very much like a cat-dog tilt. This is called tortoise pose, and we may have also done this in other videos. I'm just giving you my Christmas favorites, if you will. Bring your hands through to the mat, place them gently on the floor next to your feet if you can. If you're way back here, again, it's okay. There is no perfect yoga posture. It's always this evolving place that we like to get to. It's movement. It's moving forward into the posture. It's finding more space in the posture, okay? There's not this perfect range that everybody looks the same. We're gonna inhale like we would for a cat-dog tilt. We're gonna lift our heart and chest up, look to the sky. And then on your exhale, you're gonna actually push into your hands, tuck your tail under you, so you're actually rounding here, okay, which is opposite of what I normally like, but that's gonna give us that nice upper back, neck, and shoulder stretch. So this is a tortoise cat-dog tilt. We're gonna inhale, we're gonna pull ourselves forward. Think about tipping the pelvis back, look up, stretch the spine. Exhale, round, tuck, and curl, push back, chin to chest. This should just feel good. This is an awesome back stretch. It's also very, in yoga, what's called yin. It's a very passive posture. But when we add the cat-dog tilts, it allows us to get a little bit more of that spinal work and the stretch in the low back hip connection. Then for the final part of this posture, we just walk our hands gently forward and we lower our head down towards our feet. Now, always you have your block. You can place your block on your feet on any level, and you can then place the forehead down. Some of you might be like, yeah, Chris, whatever, I'm all the way up here. That's okay too, and you can even grab a second block if you need. But what's so nice about this posture is it's very healing in nature. It's softening, it's not forceful, the head is totally supported, and the body's kind of just rounding down into itself. So again, 3 to 5 breaths on whatever level you're at, and just really enjoying that stretch. You guys, last little sequence here, we're gonna lower ourselves down onto the mat. This one you will want your stretch for unless you're hypermobile and have a lot of flexibility. Take that strap and place it around the arch of one foot. Keep the strap in both hands to start. Now, more basic is gonna be foot flat on the floor, knee bent. A little more advanced is gonna be extending that leg all the way long to the floor, okay? So you have to kind of decide where you're at. It might be nice to just start here today. Just a few times, bend and straighten your elbows, drawing your leg a little bit closer to you. Now, it can be slightly bent. We've talked about that, but I don't want it uber bent or it's not going to be the same stretch at all. Every time you bend a joint, you take the stretch out of a belly of a muscle and you take it someplace else. So this is specifically for that belly of that hamstring, that big hamstring muscle. Try to keep your lower back down, your booty down, and just do some gentle pulls. That's what we call traction stretching, which I really enjoy. There's a lot of argument between the two, static and traction. You play with what you like. Maybe just holding it is enough for you. Then take that strap in the same arm as leg. You're going to anchor your other arm out to the side. That's going to stabilize you. And then you're going to really slowly start to let that leg pull out to the side as far as you can go. Now this is called L stand in yoga, and you can take this anywhere, right? So for some of you, it may go right there and you're like, that's it. Then the whole body wants to fall with it, right? We don't want that. So really very mindfully and methodically, keeping the left side anchored down, let that leg fall out wherever it's going to go. And then just hold it. Just allow those groins and those adductor muscles to stretch along the inside of that inner thigh. As always, that's going to be your 5 to 10 breaths, maybe a minute, just depends on what your body needs. Then grab the strap with the opposing hand, anchor out once again. That arm anchors you, it keeps you. We're now going to go cross body. This is for the outer edge IT band, knee, maybe even some tibialis, and that TFL outside edge of hip. So you don't want to twist completely over, then it becomes a spinal exercise, which is great if that's what you want. Take it there after this. But for the first part of this, we just want to pull in a diagonal. So I'm not pulling straight across. I'm pulling kind of up towards my opposing armpit and shoulder. Always take a few breaths. The more flexed this ankle is, that's flexion, that's pointing, right? The more flexed, the more intensity you're going to get in those attachments at the knee, the ankle, even all the way up into that outer hip glute. Once again, 5, 10 breaths, however many you need. Then maybe between sides, just a little knee to the chest. What I like to do is send both of my legs out long. I guarantee you it's never not been so. This leg is going to feel longer than this leg, because that is the magic of stretching. So you will lengthen, you will pull muscle fibers, and you will get space where you need it. Same exact thing, second side, just real quickly so we can finish up in our allotted time. Take your strap into the foot. Let's try it with a straight leg on this side. Obviously, what you do on one side, I'd prefer you do on the other side, right? But I'm just demoing it different so you can see the difference. So always keeping an active leg when it's straight, the foot still flexed like I'm standing on the floor. And then once again, each hand gets a strap, and we do a few pulls, right? We're not corking or moving our hips in weird ways. We're keeping our sacrum very flat and centered, and we're just hinging that leg in and out as it will, and or just holding it statically. Then once again, hold on with the same arm, same leg. Always better to have a nice, pretty straight arm, pretty straight leg, so you walk your hand up as necessary on the strap. Once again, the hand goes out to anchor. We slowly come out to the side and we hold. We're stretching the adductors. Those are the inside inner thigh muscles of the leg. Those are attaching or bringing together the hamstring and the quadricep. So breathing here, remember flexing is going to give you more intensity. Pointing is going to pull back a little bit from that. Still keeping a super active bottom leg. Bring the leg up after your 5 to 10 breaths. Switch the grip. Tee the arm out and then pull cross body. Remember, only twist if you're going for that more spinal low back stretch. If we're trying to get outside edge of hip glute, IT band, and tibialis, we want to come slightly up and over on a diagonal. Really getting that stretch to come all the way down the side edge of the leg. That helps with knee issues and lower back, upper hip issues. So nice stretch. Again, those 5 to 10 breaths, breathing through it, elongating the muscle fibers, taking your time, and then coming back through neutral. A nice release, as always, is a double knee pull to center. You can do little circles on the sky with your knees. Maybe you want one quick inversion before we're done. That's legs up the wall pose. As always, you have your blocks. They can be used as props. If legs up the wall pose is too much work, we place the block directly under the sacral muscles or the sacrum bone, and then we take our legs up the wall. You can point flex, roll ankles to get a little juice down there, roll the ankles in relaxation here. This posture is a restorative posture in its essence. Then once again, you can go knees to chest, little lower back stretch, Release the feet to the floor and remove the block. Rock yourself back up to a seat. So you guys, stretching is so dear to my heart. I've been doing it a lifetime. I was a gymnast when I was 8 years old, and I've basically never stopped stretching since then. And you can tell just by the angle of my postures that I have a lot of mobility in my body. Now there's good and bad to that. We don't want hypermobility. We have to learn to pull that back and use a little bit of muscle. But we also don't want to be stiff and rigid as we age. Flexibility is one of those things that really goes away as we get older, and so we want to continue to get those muscle fibers to have that muscle memory that they know they can stretch, they know they can be limber and a little more visceral and smooth. You guys, my name is Chris. I know my website is Kristen Cowherd, but I'm so excited to bring you any kind of wellness I can into your daily life. I hope I give you lots of variations. If you ever want to reach out to me, you can do little comments. I check the site all the time. Looking forward to growing it, getting more attendance out there, and a healthier us going into this new year. Have a great week, you guys. Talk to you soon.